Reach Energy with Shay Rizzo, Rebecca Rizzo with the red hair, and today I'm going to be talking to you about the heart chakra. This is my fourth installment of my chakra series. It's actually my fifth because I did do one that's all about all the chakras just a little bit. So maybe you can get that here. If I can get good at editing, it'll be somewhere right here. Anyhow, sorry. Now, so today we're going to talk about the heart chakra, which is all about the green. Now, this is like my third time attempting to record this. I'm not quite sure what the situation is, but hey, I guess it was all about me learning more about my heart chakra, not like I haven't already. But the heart chakra is all about self-love. It's all about that self-confidence and loving yourself and being proud of who you are and where you came from and all of that stuff. Now, during the time that it was developed was between the ages of 21 and 28. Now, 21 and 28, if you think about what your life was like between 21 and 28, I became a mother during that time. I got married, got divorced, I got remarried, all between 21 and 28. So just be mindful and understand all of those different experiences impacted that heart chakra, okay? The element that the heart chakra is connected to is air. It's all about going with the flow and having ease and the intention of being with love and all of that. Sounds very light, right? It's all about that element is air. The animal is a gazelle or an antelope. And you think about that. I always think about it because you figure a gazelle or an antelope, they're eating lots of tall grasses, right? Lots of that green, and they're just galloping and all the energy and the one with the earth and all of that kind of thing. Like, that's what it makes me represent when you think of gazelles or antelopes. Is that, running along the plains with all the beautiful vegetation around. So it makes you think of like that green, right? The crystals, and I don't have any of them for you to see today. You figure this is my third time doing it. I would have prepared, but I didn't. Anyway, some of the crystals are watermelon tourmaline. So it's really anything green. I want you to think anything green, but there's a little bit of exception to that rule. It's not just the emeralds and the jades and the malachites and, that type of stuff. It's also like rose quartz. Rose quartz is pink. Why would that have anything to do with the heart chakra? Well, because it's love. So that pink, and when you look at it, it immediately makes you feel love. And that rose quartz crystal helps with actual balance to that root chakra, but it also is all about that love, that self-love. I love rose quartz. I think rose quartz is something that everybody should always have around them. I'm usually wearing it. I'm not today. What am I wearing today? My ceruleite, my selenite, and my tiger eye. But anything green is all about the heart chakra. The sense is touch. Now, with solar plexus, it was sight. So it's about your seeing, right? The assessing. It's about that touch. It's about that touch and that experience and that just interaction between that your fingertips and the surface of something else. That experience. The fruit or the food is vegetables. And again, think of green, green, green. And vegetables, a lot of them, you think of green, right? Well, that's really what it's all about, green. And I know it sounds crazy, but when you are feeling that your heart chakra is off a little bit, maybe you're feeling a little bit weighted about yourself, maybe things are just harder and heavier and the ease is just gone. Eat green leafy. Eat green, anything green. And you want to get as close to sunshine as possible. When I say eat green, it doesn't mean go eat those green Skittles, because that's not the same kind of green, although it does resonate at green. The more it is closest to the form of sunlight that is possible, the healthier it is for you. So meaning if you pick something off of a tree and you eat that, right, or a bush, okay, it is much better for you than to take a wrapped, artificially sweetened, science, made, engineered product like a candy or a Skittle, like a candy, anything green, is not going to be as healthy for you as something that grows out of the ground and directly consumes that sunlight. So just keep that in mind, food and green, okay? Emotional dysfunctions. This is part of how I knew that I had a dysfunction in the heart, and I've had a dysfunction in my heart chakra I would say probably since I was about 4 or 5 years old. There's some trauma that goes back, and I'll probably share the story eventually on the page, but you know, you got to get a little vested with me before I start sharing some of that stuff. But you know, codependency is a big issue amongst those that have that block in that heart chakra. Another dysfunction is fears concerning loneliness, being afraid of being alone. I think that's being afraid of being alone is that was my big issue when I was in high school. I was so afraid that nobody was going to love me and that I was always going to be alone, that nobody was going to find me prettier enough, or they were going to think that I was too annoying, you know, that they weren't going to love me, that I was going to be, I was doomed to be alone forever. Yeah, that's so not the case for those who are watching, regardless of who you think you may be or that people may not like you. It is a very, very large chance that if you could clear up this heart chakra and allow yourself to love yourself, that it will open up that blockage and allow another person who is vibrating at that connective level to find you. But if you don't believe me, try it and prove me wrong. How about that? Okay. But no, really, the fear of being alone, I think, is something that is huge when you have that block in the heart chakra. I've been there, believe me. The fear of commitment and the fear of betrayal, being betrayed and lied to. Those are something that are big dysfunctions amongst those that have that block in that heart chakra. The other is your goals are to have balance and compassion and self-acceptance. Huge, guys. I've done some really deep inner child work, shadow work over the last 446 days. That's how many days I've been meditating as of today. And I will say that doing that inner child work and really loving yourself through whatever memories that may have percolated up. So what you do is you basically, you think about some of those things that might have caused issue and pain with you while you were growing up. And you kind of go back to that child that you were. And in your mind, the person that you are right now and the level that you are in intelligence and age and all of that, you're going to go back and you are going to approach that person that you were then, that child that you were then. And if there is some feelings that come up, because when you go back and you look at pictures of yourself and you can kind of remember emotionally where you were at, that's kind of what you're doing, but you're doing that in your brain. So you're going back into time and you're remembering those moments. And if you do need some jarring with looking at pictures, that's very helpful. But you go back and you just kind of think back, what did I feel like when I was a child and they were picking on me? When I was I thought I was fat, which I was not fat back then, but people would call me Miss Piggy with the short hair, and how that made me feel. And going back to that child that was crying and would go home and tell mom, I don't understand, how come they do that? And my mom's response was, they're jealous, honey. They love you and they think you're so beautiful that they want to make you feel bad. I so did not understand that, not even one little bit. So it's going back to that child and giving that child that conversation, that love, that hug, that reassurance, that validation. You go back to you as that child and do those things that you felt you needed during that time. Go back and have that conversation with that small inner child of you. And that's a way of working through that shadow work, because it starts to identify where you came to some of your different beliefs about yourself. It starts to identify a lot of how you processed and what filter you were looking at things through when you were that little child. So the more you come to embrace that side of you and those pieces of you, the easier it's going to be to clear that heart chakra and get that balance back in place. So having that personal power and understanding that balance and that compassion about who you were at that time and those junctions in your life, and loving yourself regardless, and saying that I love you, even because of all of the mistakes that you have made and all of the decisions that you have chosen to do that have hurt other people. I love you anyway, and I forgive you. And I have compassion and love for you that you will never completely comprehend, and know that no matter what, that will never go away. Being able to say that to yourself and believe that, and have that little child inside you that was once wounded look up and hear and believe and feel that embrace that you give them, that you give them that medicine that they needed so bad back when they were younger, that is the inner child work. That is that shadow work, that working on those things and identifying some of the decisions and the situations that you have gotten yourself into, and embracing and loving yourself through them is so important. Even now, I mean, when you do things and you're going through things and you're freaking out about whatever, love yourself through those. I mean, I know that you freak out and you could probably feel really bad. Why am I getting so upset and stressed out and blah, blah, blah. But once you get through the other side, then you can kind of go, okay, Rebecca, I love you, even though you reacted this way. And here's some things that you probably might need to say to some folks around you, just that you can kind of shift those vibes and get that back into alignment. To really kind of ask yourself those questions and take the time to apologize and assess the outcome that you generated. Okay, that will really help with that heart chakra. Also, the life lesson is belief about love and relationships. To believe in love. Those that have a heart chakra that is blocked oftentimes find themselves sitting in a room alone, because it's much easier to be alone than it is to take the chance of somebody breaking your heart. And so believing in the need for relationships and the beauty of love and trusting that is super, super important. You need to make your heart available. Don't allow your heart chakra to stay blocked and remain blocked for long. Now, you're going to have occasional blocks. We all do. No matter what we do, we will always have some type of misbalance. But it's much easier to clear that up when you can assess, how are you feeling? What's happening right now? Do I love all of the decisions I'm making? Whatever those questions are, but stopping long enough to assess what's happening, to assess what you're feeling, is going to be the game changer between whether you have a clear ease and flow in your heart chakra and not. So again, one of the ways for you to get yourself into having that alignment in a place where it needs to be is eating foods that are green and getting that vibrational shift within your energetic body to get elevated, or to get to that space where that green vibrates at. And again, the closest to the sunshine that you can get, the better. If I repeated anything on this, I so apologize, you guys. This was my third attempt to make this podcast, and I'm not quite sure why it's been so difficult, but it has. This is like 3 days I've been attempting to do it too. So I don't know, the power of threes, I guess. I don't know. But anyhow, thanks so much for tuning in. This is, again, the heart chakra. I have already done the root chakra, the sacral chakra, the solar plexus, and now the heart. And I will be working my way up to the crown as well. We've got our throat, our third eye, and our crown, and then we'll be complete with that series. So if you have any questions on any additional things that have to do with the chakra, the heart chakra, any of the chakras for that, just send me a question, ask me. I am so grateful you guys found me. Please, if you like what you hear, subscribe, like, comment, share. Absolutely. I want to create a community where we can interact and we can help each other level up, continue leveling up. Love, light, many blessings. Peace. Bye.